Eventually, I hope my camera will come on, but I don't know why not coming on. But yeah, uh, your video is stopped. It says so.
You are in mute now. Yeah, now we unmuted.
So, ecological farming is today's subject. Uh, when we talk about ecological farming, we talk partly we can talk about uh, the uh, basic thing of that we want to reduce use of synthetic fertilizer. We want to increase the soil carbon. It also means increasing the micropore and biodiversity of the soil organism. And it means by synthetic fertilizer use reduction, we uh, reduce air and water pollution because emission of gases and emission of effluents both. So creating a healthy soil and creating healthy plants, that is the basic goal of organic farming. Organic farming, ecological agriculture is a little bit different from organic farming because organic farming is only talking about uh, the the use of some things, use of fertilizer, but use some fertilizer, use some pesticide, which is safer, use maybe less water. These are but when we talk about ecological, the word ecological is standing for earth friendly agriculture. So we want to minimize toxic waste. We want to use uh, renewable resources. We It is biodiversity protective, increase biodiversity, soil inside the soil and above the soil. It is energy efficient, so we want to promote those energies like solar energy and flowing energy. It is water efficient, not only energy efficient, so it uses less water, especially it uses less uh, less groundwater, deep water, and it promotes the use of renewable energy resources like solar energy and flow energy, and it also promotes the use of living resources or biotic resources. So ecological ecological means all this. That so now we go to the from the word ecological to what does it mean uh, for ecological in the sense of agriculture. So we can first look at the negative effects of You can hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah. So one way of looking at is that because of the negative effect of the present agriculture, which is synthetic chemical oriented agriculture, it has several problems. It releases a lot of carbon dioxide, it releases a lot of ammonia from the fertilizer used, it emits a lot of nitrous oxide and other greenhouse gases like ammonia and carbon dioxide. It increases a demand of water, as I was saying, and as a result of the use of too much water, also it causes soil erosion and the soil degradation, soil salinization, soil acidification, etc., depending on which kind of irrigation technology is used. And uh, lastly, it in broad way we can say that it increases the dependence significantly and continuously on off-farm inputs. All the things initially which are uh, from the agricultures like seeds, inputs, and breeds of animals and birds which are used, all these become more and more from outside. The seed comes from company, the breeds come from company, the different kind of inputs and tools which you use in the farm. So one way is to look at that we want uh, these negative aspects to go. How do we do it? What we do to make eco farming work? Uh, if it if it works, what does it do? Number one, it increase the variety of crops and quality of food, and it also improves quality of the soil uh, because it makes it alive with many kind of microorganisms. Just to imagine that a handful of to a handful of organic soil, a handful of ecological farm soil can have microorganism which is almost more than the population on Earth, the microorganism population. Uh, Basic principle of ecological farming is diversify and integration. So we say also it's one another name is diversified integrated farming is same as eco farming. Uh, we focus on locally adapted species of plants, locally adapted species of animals, of water organism, fish, frog, etc., and also many lot of different kind of microorganism, mushroom, various kind of bacteria and fungi, and this increase resilience of the farm to all kind of disease and insects, pests and other things. And in eco farming, we use mainly renewable source of energy like solar energy, wind energy, flow of water, uh, etc. etc. So the use of renewable energy is an important part of ecological farming. And These are the things which we increase, and we slowly eliminate the use of synthetic fertilizer, as a result of which water pollution also decreases. At present, farm is one of major source of water pollution, nitrate pollution, and many other effluent pollution. Only about 25-30% of the nutrients we give go to the plant. The rest go either in the air or in the water or remain in the soil, and thereby increase pollution. In uh, regenerative planting, in our kind of ecological farming, the soil carbon increases, microorganism increases, the variety of microplants and macroplants both increase. Uh, Now, to see, therefore, we try to avoid the mistakes of uh, the chemical oriented agriculture, in which the tillage in intensive in regenerative agriculture or ecological farming, the tillage is slowly decreased, both the depth and the frequency. We use a monocrop, one or two crops. Here we use multiple crops in ecological farming. We use mainly rainwater and topsoil water. We don't go do deep water harvesting. Uh, if the water takes 20-30 years to accumulate, and we use that in one or two seasons, there will always be water level dropping, and slowly the soil will become saline. The pesticide in pest control, disease control, we use mainly in conventional agriculture, we use mainly synthetic chemical pesticide, herbicide, etc. And so the whole movement of our present agriculture is towards specialization of few crops and using factory manufactured chemicals, and the diversity, biological diversity is generally lost. Initially, maybe 10 crops, 10 types of crops through the year. Then it becomes only one or two, maximum six in a year. So even three in a year, or only one or two in a year. So the whole idea of the ecological farming is to increase the diversity and making sure that the renewable energy we can, from the sun, from the water flow, from the air flow, how to use this better. Uh, am I clear in these ideas? Are you uh, are you understanding, or do you want some points to be re-explained?
If you can explain a bit more in deep,
Okay.
or more points if you would like to add, you can continue.
Yeah. So the farm systems, ecological farm systems, based mainly on five different things. One is uh, polyculture, various kind of animals integration. And when we say integration, it means in ratio. So if you have so much rice, then you need so much manure, and to produce so much manure, you need so many birds and animals. So how to recycle all the biomass within the farm, that is within and between the farms, is the idea. So it is not, if you keep too many animals, then most of the biomass will not be used by composting. And so it is not a monoculture, it is a polyculture. It is a culture in which we have land based crops, land based trees, land based animals, water based animals, water based plants, etc. So these things should be in proportion, in such a proportion that one meets the need of the other. The creation of life soil is a goal. So, how to increase and use the diversity of various living things? This is our aim. We try to do, and we try to do it by using grass eating animals, not grain eating animals. We try to integrate local and indigenous varieties. Uh, we try to increase the use of, as I said, solar energy. One example is we grow in place where there is water, only 3 inch, 6 inch deep water, on which we can grow fern like Azolla. Azolla anabena is the scientific name. Uh, Azolla is interesting because it can double in about only 4 5 days. It can double its volume, and it has about 30% nitrogen, so it can be put directly for the rice. Also, it can be put for the duck. It can be put for the cow, and the in the feces we get nitrogen back, but directly it can give nitrogen also to the rice plant. Uh, Stability uh, through richness, the richness of plant diversity. Each area, each region in our country have originally uh, maybe lower yielding, but many kind of chicken, many kind of goat, many kind of cow, many kind of sheep, and so it is possible for them to become uh, more in number without large artificial systems. Today, not only in growing rice or wheat or something, corn, we use very limited varieties. Also, we raise limited types of animals and birds. And this we want to avoid, because as a result of this, the cow manure does not become useful for making compost. The uh, chicken, if 10,000 chicken remain in cage, if they remain free ranging by rotation, they can plow the soil, they can eat the insects, and they can fertilize the soil. All this, when we do a intensive poultry or intensive dairy, we need a lot of food, human food also, grain food also, and also we feed some fertilizer also, we feed some antibiotic also. So, in fact, the cow dung that we produce from the hiding variety is of not much use for making good compost. The uh, our aim is to create many kind of interaction in regenerative agriculture. Always combine, if possible, three, four things. Like, for example, in the rice field itself, we can grow we can make a drain around, and we can keep some ducks, local ducks, and we can keep some mudfish. And so, in the same land, the different ingredients which go in, they support each other. This is what is called integrated farming. The uh, in the time when there is not enough water to grow a crop, we grow cover crops, usually leguminous cover crops that uh, keep the soil moisture, and to some extent, uh, because they are uh, we choose the kind of plants which are not grazed by animals if it is not possible to guard, if there is no possible to fence. So we combine crops, livestock, trees, bushes, bees, etc. So polyculture is at the uh, base, at the root of ecological agriculture. Why this was necessary? If we want a official document, at the beginning of the century, there was a uh, commission, there was a international study for about 5 years, and their major parts were institutional expert also, banking authorities also, government agencies, and a few NGO. It is called IIASTD. Uh, you can see IISTD report 2009. It it says that our fossil fuel dependence is continuously increasing. Agrochemical use has increased already by 8 or 10 times for only twice the amount of production. So it is not me only saying, it is not only uh, few crazy organic farmers who are saying, it is the global community which is saying. It is a only 2 countries or 3 countries dissented, but actually, or more or less, more than 80, 90 countries agreed with the conclusion over a 5 year period. So, if you are interested, read their report called Agriculture at Crossroads. So, again, to repeat that uh, we want to have shallow tillage, we want to have multiple kind of crops, we want to have multiple kind of animals and birds with which we can create the integration. Uh, we want to stop the use of inorganic fertilizer and chemical pesticide. We want to uh, stop using genetically modified seeds. All all this kind of, we want to stop factory farming of animals, because all these things, they increase the dependence of the Uh, Farmer on factory produce, multinational produce products without giving much gain and increasing more and more dependence. So the the loss of biodiversity, the loss of genetic diversity, the loss of crop diversity, the loss of types of trees that we grow in our in our farm, all this combined together to the crisis today we are in which the soil is becoming poorer and poorer, and the water and air is becoming more and more polluted. And because of our tend towards specialization, nature likes collaboration, not just competition and specialization, in order to serve a diverse kind of need for food, for fodder, for medicine, etc. If you want, later on, you ask me questions, I can give you specific examples. But I guess for the first part, this is a introduction, and if you have questions, feel free to ask it.
Okay. Thank you, sir, for the detailed presentation. Detailed presentation. Trying to take up some questions.
Yeah, feel free to ask questions. I'm waiting.
Question is core principles that define ecological farming. Hello?
Hello.
Yeah.
Yes. Any question?
Wha- I am repeating the question. What are
Yeah.
the core principles that define ecological farming?
Okay. One is how to increase the variety of crops and animals. Second question is how we can plow it less often and less deeply. So try to avoid too deep turning of the soil and try to keep the soil covered round the year. And to increase the diversity of crops and bushes around for fencing, and if possible, if where it is naturally possible, to grow fish also, duck also, etc., together with the main crop like rice or wheat or whatever it is, and use locally adapted species. In West Bengal alone, we have surveyed 10, 15 years ago, and we could identify 300 or more types of brinjal. And we are talking about uh, hybrid brinjal or new brinjal or something. But why we need, if it tastes the same, why we need specific brinjals and GM oriented brinjals, which are prone to many kind of disease and insect. So our aim in ecological agriculture is to increase diversity, not to decrease diversity. And our aim in ecological agriculture is to use solar, wind energy, as I said, and all kind of renewable energy, including plants, animals, etc. Uh, our aim is to decrease the pollution of waterways by chemical effluent from the field And by using synthetic chemicals, we actually are increasing the resistance of the damaging insects. And once they die, but those which live actually cause more damage to the crops. So ecological agriculture has this, that you increase your crop variety, you increase your uh, various kind of associated animal and bird culture. You try to when you have diversified already, you try to diversify also the sources of organic material. Animal has animal urine, animal dung, uh, other biological like botanical, if the plant extract, uh, the use of various kind of renewable energy, use of all these things, and also integrate, meanings that integrate animals in proportion, as I was saying. So how much manure can go in the pond to become feed for how much fish. Hmm. And uh, the we try to use as much as possible locally adapted species, as I said just now earlier with the brinjal example, that in every state, India alone has hundreds of types of cow. There is no need of using the bullshit from the Holstein cow and other things. Jersey cow may be good for milk, maybe more milk, but actually in the process, we have lost the animal dung available for composting and other things. So these are the first important points of ecological farming. Crop diversity, soil, below soil, soil microorganism diversity, and try to stop using genetically modified organism, try to stop spraying very often, and try to stop using synthetic chemicals. Uh, some may use those which are naturally occurring, like limestone or some other phosphate rock, but not purified fertilizers, not concentrated fertilizers. Am I
Okay.
clear?
Yeah. Next question. How does ecological farming differ from conventional and organic farming?
Yeah. So I have already spoken about conventional farming. That conventional farming is mostly reducing the whole year from multi-crop to monocrop situation, and in monocrop, and we are using genetic modified seed, or we are using a lot of hybridized seed. Just a moment, just a moment. Uh, yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah. Now the video also starts suddenly after so much time. Okay. So you were asking how is it different from. So now organic is a concept mainly of the safe food. Though originally, if natural organic farming we are talking, it is same as almost same as ecological farming without using so many biological fertilizers, so much calculation for how to integrate better, etc. Uh, organic, traditional organic was almost similar to ecological farming. Modern organic is using is talking only about customer health safety. So use everything, but use it in moderate quantity, and there should not be residue. But it does not. It remains silent about use of antibiotics in food. It remains. Uh, it does not talk much about the various kind of antibiotic and the color which is used in food. It says that it should not be used, but actually the mm, monitoring systems are inadequate. It is focusing too much on safety, and it is not focusing on local biodiversity. So in India, even as I was saying, one state like West Bengal can have many 200, 300 varieties of rice, some for the hill area, some for the drought prone area, some for uh, the flood prone areas. But the modern agriculture tries to use the same five seeds for maybe all ecosystems. And as a result, when the climate change has come now to teach us lesson that you cannot have flood prone and drought prone and all other area growing similar kind of crops. You need different kind of crops in order to, if you have few crops, you have much higher chance of losing all your profit and all your yield. So suddenly everything everything works or everything does not work. If you are going for ecological farming, if you are growing 4 5 crops, for example, if you are planting, say, 3 rows or 4 rows of corn or uh, sorghum or millet, pearl millet in a dry area, 3 rows and three, 3 to 5 rows, and 2 rows of maybe the pigeon pea, and 3 4 rows of oil seed, like maybe depending on what season you are growing. It can be sesame, it can be sunflower, it can be safflower. So if you grow different kind of crops which need different nutrients, which have different root depth. So some are deep rooted, some are shallow rooted, some are medium rooted. So when we don't talk about this crop diversity and animal diversity, when we don't talk of using animals, keeping hundreds of birds in a rice field after the rice has been harvested, so that they can eat all the insects and next generation will have less pest problem. So there are hundreds of opportunities to uh, make sure. I am sorry I could not understand beforehand that you wanted actually a PowerPoint presentation. If it was, I knew that, then I could have prepared. So in future, sometime we will do. But a integrated farming approach means growing crop, growing fish, growing mudfish, growing, for example, growing mudfish, growing duck, growing azolla, a plant in the same rice field, not in 5 different places. So, uh, for dry area, for semi-dry area, for wet area, the crop rotation, the crop combination with animals and with trees will be different, especially if you have problem of salinity, if you have problem of acidity, etc., etc. Is it clear?
Yeah. The next question is, what are some successful examples of ecological farming practices globally?
Yeah, globally. Uh,
Yes.
in different countries, different kind of systems have been worked on. The in some countries, ecological agriculture also focus on, but anyway, everywhere human welfare is the center of the goal, but also the workers' welfare. Also, whether if we use a lot of chemicals for pesticide and fertilizer, it also means health hazard for the consumer, but also for the farmers and also for the workers. And so it is ecological agriculture. There is no one good model for every country. Every country has to select which crops, which trees, which animals, which fish, which duck, which kind of bird animal will be suitable for that their climate, that their ecoregion. In West Bengal alone, there are 20 or more ecoregions. So there is no one good model for everybody, but every region has good combination models, and the farmers, along with the experts, along with the uh, teachers who work in the trainers who work in the field, can it can do action learning. The important part of ecological farming is not only to learn from books, but also to learn from practical experience of the long period that farmers have developed in a particular region. So, uh, it is important to uh, think about local seed, local breed, local tree species, and working out the principles are universal, but the practice is based on what works in a particular ecoregion. So, for whole of the state, it may not be same because there are many drought prone areas in West Bengal, for example, where I live right now. So Bakuda, Purulia, etc. This is dry zone. Darjeeling, etc. is hilly area. Darjeeling, Siliguri, Jalpaiguri, etc. These are hilly areas, and there are floodplains near Chobbish Pargana, Midnapur, etc., the coastal areas. So there is no, this is the whole idea. The ecosystem agriculture uh, builds on the local region soil and local region climate. It does not try to grow same potato, same rice, same thing everywhere. Everywhere growing same varieties of wheat, everywhere growing same kind of rice, everywhere keeping same kind of pigs or cows or chicken is at the root of danger that because of which we are suffering nowadays, and because of which uh, the farmer is loaded with lot of the loaded with a lot of material for reading, but actually uh, getting killed under the loan, getting killed under subsidies, and we do not need, so all these loans and subsidies by through the hand of farmers is ending up, the big houses are not losing their business. They to once the seeds farmers were able to keep for their own seeds. Now all seeds are patented. Once farmers were able to plant many kind of trees, now only 4 or 5 is promoted. And when it dies, then the farmer becomes the as the receiving end. All the loss is borne, and no loss is borne by the. We have theoretically some insurance policies or other things, but we have also hundreds of farmers dying from suicide because the they cannot repay the loan. So if the prosperity of farmer is included in ecological farming, it is not only about life in the soil, but also life above the soil, also the life of the farmer.
Okay. And can ecological farming be scaled for large-scale agricultural operations?
Can you
I'll
repeat?
repeat. Can ecological farming be scaled for large agricultural operations?
Agriculture scale, large scale agriculture. Okay. It can. It can. It will be different kind of within each ecoregion. It is not question of large or small, but in a large scale also it can operate, provided the of course the technologies, when you are doing going for large scale, you need large storage capacities and large processing capacities, maybe solar drying, maybe grinding, maybe making oil. It's because all things cannot be stored for very long, just in a raw state. So it is not only the production technology, but also the processing and supporting technology also are important to think about region. It the present thing is where some state in India is producing rice for California, so somebody can eat basmati rice for uh, some kind of rice dish. Is is a is a crazy idea. Is a crazy idea. Is not a idea that actually many countries are producing food for other country, and therefore they are producing money for money, not thinking about whether production of the food is detrimental to the soil. So it is also important that if somebody is producing, it should be good for the health of the soil and health of the water and health of their own children and health of their own family. These uh, agroecology can do that, and countries such as Bhutan, where the actually whole nation is allow only various kind of organic farming, but it is a small country. Uh, Cuba, once they were using a lot of fertilizer, lot of machines. Then they lost their market in USA because USA is the nearest country, but don't want to buy their product. So they want to boycott. So in uh, large scale, it is possible to grow ecological farming, but they also ecological farming in each country can mean that they have not all problems can be solved in a short period. But if if the at least a 10 acre, 20 acre plot farmers become only 5 or 6 farmers or 7 farmers get together to harvest the rainwater, to store the rainwater, and not to depend only on 1 or 2 successful crop, but four, 4 or 5 crop, then they are more ensured that 1 or 2 crops may go bad, but their overall income will increase. So actually, working the present problem is that we are not learning from our traditional knowledge. Our also another problem is farmers do not have the uh, experience, and somebody is not helping them to do research, participatory and action research. So most of the research is mainly for many kind of theories, but not really so much action oriented. People learn agriculture by studying books rather than by doing lot of practice during the education, academic education. But if those things were changed, then definitely it can work in a large scale. The all the things that I was saying earlier, rice, fish culture, for example, there is a large region in southern Japan where Mr. Furuno has shown his that this is possible. Uh, in a large area of Japan island, the famous now not living anymore, Mr. Masanobu Fukuoka, he showed that he is founder of natural agriculture. He demonstrated that actually for growing rice, you don't have to cultivate and you don't have to do so much weeding, and you can grow almost equal crop if you are using locally adapted seeds. So definitely it is possible in large scale also. And many permaculture farmers are trying now to work out what kind of mixed agroforestry can feed people in large numbers. This is also happening in permaculture, started mainly in Australia, but now it is a world over movement. And there are many people who are not from agriculture background, from architecture, from farming, from various kind of educational background. People are doing experiment nowadays, but actually the uh, there need to be more agreement between the academia that agronomy is not good enough now today. Agrology is more important. It is more important to follow the logic of the earth and logic of mixed farming.
Okay. Since we are running short of time, I'll just take one more question. Um,
Yeah,
what challenges do farmers face when transitioning to ecological farming? Ecological farming.
yeah. What to do? That is
Yeah.
your question.
What challenges do
Hmm?
farmers face when transitioning to ecological farming?
Well, as I was saying, that 8 or 10, even 20 sometimes, farmers have to sit together. They have to keep maybe 8 or 10 acre land. They don't need 10,000 or 50,000 or something the acre of land, not a very large area. Organic farming is one of the problem, that because there is theoretically there is a kind of, you need so many thousand of acres in order to make sure that no pesticide falls in your thing. That is not the goal here. 10, 15, 20 acres is good enough if the farmers work together and first care for their own food, and first care for their diversity in their own food and diversity of their environment, and uh, choose crop according to their soil, and try to harvest all the rainfall, and decide which crop is good for that their average rainfall. They should be prepared that okay, they should not try to grow only the best crop, maybe 2 3 varieties of rice, maybe 2 3 varieties of legumes, maybe 2 3 varieties of various kind of millets, various kind of leafy vegetables. Right now, one of the problem is that there are many crops as well as crop weeds which are even more nutritious than the crop grown. We all talk about okay, vitamin A and is very there in the farm, so vitamin C is very much necessary. As a result, we are saying that okay, why not? Even international organization sometime is saying carrot has a lot of vitamin A, and vitamin A is deficient in Indian children because they cannot see. So we need it. Everybody in India should eat carrot, but carrot cannot grow most of the country, and the leaf of drumstick has equal or even more available iron, vitamin A, etc. So something which is suitable for the, there is no need to think about one solution for the entire world, or one solution even for the entire country. When a country is the size of India and have diversified kind of soils, black soil, clay soil, sandy soils, stony soil. So if we choose, if we say what is the basic necessity of a human body to exist, and it needs starch, okay? In some place, corn will provide the starch. In some place, rice will provide the starch. In some place, millets will provide the starch. Uh, Depending on the rainfall regime and how much water accumulates. So, managing the water, managing the soil, managing the crop combination, and exporting only those things which have high value, like many spices, many medicinal plants, many other things. They weigh little but cost more, and there should be international trade. But the essential food should not come from 3,000 kilometers away. Essential food, your uh, daily daily necessary food, should be based on local region. So maybe a 30 kilometer radius, 40 kilometer radius. So we need to rethink our uh, way of distribution of food. in which sometime a lot of almost all this we are saying we have so much food scarcity and we have so many lakhs of tons of in HCI go down and something like that. And then okay, food is rotting in the godown, and a lot of pesticide is sprayed in the godown to keep it safe from the rat. In spite of that, India is losing 50-60% of its food grains, 50-60% of the food grains to the rats. And sometimes the food, before the time they reach the plate of the farmer or any other worker, is more than 5-6 years. So we have to decentralize our food system, and we have to reduce our loss to pests and to rats and cats and all whatnot. So the centralized food system, distribution and collection system is not working right now as it is. So if I assume that people already are aware of these problems of the existing farming system, so that is why I did not prepare the statistics for each of those. But if that is necessary, so half an hour is not much time to talk about all the negative points. We should concentrate on right now what I said, the positive aspects on of ecological farming, that choose diverse trees, choose diverse animals, choose diverse crops, choose diverse kind of aquatic organism, and choose them in a good proportion so that they can help each other. And we our need for using synthetic pesticide, deep layer water, and synthetic fertilizer goes down.
Okay. Okay, sir. So I don't see any more questions. So now we have come to end of question round. On
Okay.
behalf of agricultureinformation.com, we like to thank you for the detailed presentation and answering all the questions in depth. So we'll be ending this meeting now.
Thank you very much.
You're most welcome, sir. Thank you.
Sorry that it did not work in the beginning and only towards the end the image, but in yeah. But if we ever talk again, some mechanical difficulty, but we can work out probably, and uh, anything in future also through the correspondence and through the website. There are many Bengali, and now we are trying in English also from the Development Research Communication Service Center. We are trying to put more and more video on which people can see through the YouTube and other things. And this also you will be putting, I heard, on YouTube.
Yes,
So,
yes.
so I hope that people will pay attention a little more. And thank you for your help in getting message across.
Sure, sir. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. You're most welcome and thank you.